All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is approximately 10:04 p.m. and on here on April 14th of 2020, April 13th of 2024. This is your first appearance. My name is Judge Mark Thorpe, and I'm one of the associate magistrate judges here in Clayton County. Ladies and gentlemen, just a few announcements that we're going to have here before we get started. If you're having trouble or if you have trouble hearing me at any point during the course of my hearing with you this morning, please let me know, as this is very important, the information that we're going to go through here today regarding the matters that you've been charged with. Again, this is your first appearance, ladies and gentlemen, and this is being recorded. And so I remind you of that, ladies and gentlemen, because for those of you all that have pending charges or alleged charges, which would be each of you against you, it's very important that you remember and that you keep in mind the information that we discuss, and that you're also careful with the things that you say to me. Because this is recorded, you're not only making myself a witness, but any of the other people potentially around you, witnesses to the matter, as these recordings can be used against you. As I said, I am not here to try your case, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here simply to advise you of the charges against you, to inform you of the certain rights that you have, to set bond on those offenses where I am legally able to do so, to schedule a preliminary hearing, and then also to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney if you cannot afford one. Most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, each of you all has the right to remain silent. In addition to that right, you have the right to a presumption of innocence, the right to an indictment by grand jury for felonies or accusation for misdemeanors. You have the right to a speedy and public trial by jury. You have the right to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your behalf. You have the right to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you. You have the right to testify on your own behalf or offer evidence in your own defense. You also, as I mentioned earlier, have the right to an attorney to represent you, and I will review the application for each of you individually to determine if, in fact, you qualify. And then lastly, if you are a citizen, or excuse me, are not a citizen, you could be, based on these charges, subject to deportation. And so I would request, if that is a situation that you may find yourself in, that you speak separately with an immigration attorney. Now, as I mentioned earlier, in addition to advising you of what you've been charged with, I am also here to talk to you about bond. Bond is that amount which you would pay to the sheriff's office or to a bonding company to allow you to be released while your case is still pending. There are three ways to make bond. The first would be what is called a cash bond. That is where you bring to the sheriff's office or someone you know the total amount that I will give you this morning, plus any fees that are due to the sheriff, and they will hold that money until your case is over, at which time it will be returned to you. The example I like to use is if I tell you that you are charged with battery family violence and that your bond amount is $6,000, you would bring $6,000 or someone you know up to the sheriff's office where it would be held until your case is closed. The second way to make bond would be the use of a commercial bonding company. So if you don't have the full amount in bond, you can use a bonding company, which typically requires 12 to 15% of that total amount. So again, if I tell you your bond is $6,000, you would be responsible for anywhere from $500 to $750. The difference, however, is you don't get that money back. The bonding company gets to keep it. Lastly, the final way is a property bond. So if either you or someone you know owns a piece of property that is worth at least 3 times your bond, they may bring the deed to that property down to the sheriff's office, where the sheriff will hold it again until your case is closed. Now, in addition to the 3 ways we talked about, there are some of you all who will have what we call special conditions attached to your bond. That means I'm going to tell you that you are to stay away from a particular place, or you are to have no contact with a particular person. If I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, not to speak to a particular person, please do not email, text, write, instant message, DM. Don't even write them something as simple as a song, because any of those, ladies and gentlemen, would be a violation of my order, a violation of your bond, and cause you to be placed back in custody and subject to up to 20 years in prison or a $20,000 fine for influencing a witness or aggravated stalking. If I tell you not to go back to a place, don't go. Even if it was a place that you were living at prior to this alleged incident happened, please, if you get out on bond, contact the sheriff's office and they will take you there with them to get any items that may belong to you. And you can only do that within 10 days of your release. Now, in addition to the bond amount, and the conditions we talked about, I'm finally going to ask each of you about a preliminary hearing. A preliminary hearing is where you are present, the judge is present, and the police officer who arrested you. And they will present to the judge the evidence that they had to arrest you. The judge will review it and make a determination if there is enough evidence for your case to go to the prosecutor. So it's not your trial, it's simply another way to review the evidence. If there is not, the judge may make the decision to dismiss it. Now, if you are charged with a felony and you don't make bond, you automatically get your right to that hearing. If you are charged with a misdemeanor, you have to ask for that hearing. So for each of you all charged with misdemeanors, I will ask you this morning whether you would like to have the hearing or waive it. If you would like to have it, you'll simply let me know. If you would like to waive it, meaning you don't want the hearing and it'll move it a little faster, you'll tell me you simply want to waive it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, with that, if I could have everyone please raise their right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the information you'll provide here this morning during the hearing, as well as what you provided on your court-appointed information, is the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? And if it is, I need each of you to say, I do. I do. All right. Thank you very much. All right, Mr. Artilla, if you would please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the information that you're going to provide here this morning, interpret from Spanish to English and English to Spanish, will be the truth? And if so, please say I do.
I do, Your Honor.
Okay. And so, deputies, can you advise who the two? I think one of them is a fugitive, and what is the other gentleman?
The other one is, what's your last name? Garcia. Last name Garcia.
You said Garcia?
Yes.
Okay, Garcia.
The people rolling around in the seats not doing nothing.
Oh, shit.
Ms. Jartu, while I'm looking for their paperwork, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank you, Your Honor. Hola, señores, buenos días. Hoy les voy a servir de intérprete.
Okay. If we could have up first, I believe it's Mr. Santiago.
Señor Santiago, pase adelante.
Mr. Santiago, your situation is a little different.
Señor Santiago, la situación suya es algo diferente.
You are not here for a first appearance for new charges.
Usted no está aquí para una audiencia inicial sobre cargos imputados.
Okay. You are here, sir, because according to the information that I have, you have an outstanding warrant in another jurisdiction.
Usted está aquí, señor, porque según la información que tengo aquí delante, usted tiene una orden de captura pendiente de otra jurisdicción.
Specifically, sir, it says that you have an outstanding warrant in the state of Maryland.
Específicamente, dice que usted tiene una orden de captura pendiente en el estado de Maryland.
Now, sir, you have two options.
Entonces, usted tiene dos opciones, señor.
Sí, ¿qué pasó?
Yes. What is it? Momentico, señor. Your Honor, I think your camera might be frozen.